What is up, YouTube? Welcome to another episode of From the Booth to the Court. It's your boy Roy, and we are back with another flame video for the channel. Now, in today's video, I'm actually going to be talking about my choices for the Western Conference first round playoff matchups in the NBA. Now, I've already did a video talking about the Eastern Conference matchups and who I think will win. I'm gonna put a link in the description box below for that video, so also check that one out and tell me if you think that my choices are cool with that one. You suck! But we actually talking about the West today, West Side. But now we talking about the West, and we are actually focusing on the teams that we have playing each other in those first round series matchups. So the first series that we're actually going to be talking about is the number 1 seed Golden State Warriors taking on the number 8 seed Los Angeles Clippers. Now, speaking of the Clippers have actually been a surprising team for me out west. I mean, looking at what they've been able to accomplish and what they've been able to do with actually really not having no bona fide star. I mean, that team is really just a grit and grind team, a team that's out there playing hard and doing whatever they can, scrapping and scraping to get those W's and just to be able to actually make it to the playoffs. I mean, they got a lot of pieces and a lot of key aspects of their team that I actually really like. I like their coach, Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers is a good coach, very phenomenal, and I think with him actually stepping down from having that general manager position and just being able to focus on coaching for that team has really actually got that team on track, and it just allowed him to be able to focus on what the team needs to be able to compete. I mean, they got Patrick Beverly, somebody who's a grit and grind type player. You know, he really is not scared, don't take no prisoners. The man bring it every night, especially on defense, and basically he's all in your face and do not give a care. He's not scared of anybody, not scared of any matchup, not scared of any player. Definitely somebody who I would love to have on my team, and definitely a type of player that I actually enjoy watching. And then you got players like Gallinari. I mean, Gallinari has been having a phenomenal year. I mean, recently he was basically struggling with injuries, but he's basically been there and been providing everything that the team actually needs pretty much this whole season. And this team just basically is a grit and grind type style. I mean, if the Warriors, they definitely are going to have to watch out. I mean, I think the Clippers are going to be pulling all stops, basically trying to, you know, play rough and tough, get in their head and do what they can to frustrate the Golden State Warriors to try to take games from them or to try to get them out of their game. Now, speaking of the Golden State Warriors, I mean, the team is basically doing what it's been doing for like the past 4 seasons, and that's basically shooting lights out, being a top in the West, and just basically just kind of competing and just being a squad that pretty much has no weaknesses. I mean, if you look at their starting 5, all those guys are phenomenal players, all-star caliber type players. They definitely got 4 players in the starting 5 that can go for 25 any given night if they get it rolling. And then you got Draymond just being the glue, holding everything together and just being a defensive specialist, a lockdown individual on the court. I mean, really, I don't see nobody being able to beat the Golden State Warriors unless something like catastrophic happens. I mean, their team pretty much has no weakness. I mean, I don't see who's going to have enough firepower or enough star power to be able to compete with them. So for that series, I actually got Golden State Warriors taking that seed 4-0. Now, I don't got the Clippers getting swept because they're a bad team. I just don't think that they have enough firepower at this time to be able to compete with the Golden State Warriors. Hell, I don't think nobody in the NBA really has as much as needed to be able to beat the Golden State Warriors. So it's definitely not a knock at the Clippers. I just basically see Golden State winning that series 4-0. Now, the next series that we actually got popping off is going to be the number 2 seed Denver Nuggets taking on my favorite team, the number 7 seed San Antonio Spurs. So talking about the Denver Nuggets, their coach Mike Malone really has this team balling out, and this team has actually been surprising to me. I know coming into the season, I definitely did not have Denver Nuggets being the number 2 seed out west. I definitely didn't have them performing and being able to be this good. Like, I mean, Mike Malone has a team balling out. They got Jokic, who's basically playing solid, a solid big, being able to do everything. They kind of got a grit and grind type style, kind of like the actual Clippers, but they're just doing it on a little bit more of a better level than the Clippers are, because they really don't have, besides Jokic, I mean, he's a star, he's a nice player, but he's not really a superstar player as of yet. I definitely think he's going to be able to fill those shoes probably like a year or two down the line. But they just a solid team to watch out for. Definitely a team that's a big threat in the playoffs. They've been a big threat all season. I've been expecting them to slip out the 2 seed all season, but they actually been jockeying and battling the Golden State Warriors for that 1st seed, and they just been consistent with what they got going on with their game plan, and they just basically a very fun team to watch. Now, the number 7 seed that they're going up against is my San Antonio Spurs. Now, you already know I'm a Spurs fan to the core. That's my squad. We bleed silver and black over here. And I think, you know, the Spurs have been having a tough year. It's basically been a lot of ups and downs. They haven't been playing as much as consistent ball as we actually are used to seeing from the San Antonio Spurs. But I mean, that's going to happen when you get rid of like your best player on the team, as well as lose a lot of your best defenders on the perimeter. I mean, we lost Danny Green, who's a solid 3-and-D guy. We lost Kyle Anderson, who was also solid defensively for us. And then we lost a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year in Kawhi, who was also our MVP offensive type player as well. So, I mean, we got DeMar DeRozan. He came in. He's been playing phenomenal for us. But, I mean, it's, you know, it took a little bit for him to be able to gel with a new team. I mean, we had like 7 new players as far as that's on our team that we were trying to gel. We lost 2 point guards at the beginning of the season. So it's been an actual tough year for us. We really been struggling defensively. But as far as that matchup, I mean, they still got the upper hand, I think, when it comes to 2 categories, and that's coaching with Greg Popovich, because Greg Popovich, to me, is the best NBA coach that we have right now in the league, and definitely one of the best coaches that we had in the NBA for all time, for sure. And then they also got another category that they actually have an advantage in, which is playoff experience. I mean, DeRozan has had a lot of battles in Toronto. LaMarcus has a lot of battles in the playoffs with Portland as well as with the Spurs, and a lot of players on the Spurs have been in the playoffs before. So I think that edge is going to be a good edge that'll be able to be a deciding factor in the series. So me personally, I got to ride with my squad. I got the Spurs winning the series 4-3. I mean, I got to pick them. I think it's possible. I think it's something that can happen. I think we can actually do an upset. But I mean, that's my opinion. It may not happen that way, but that's what I think. So for the next series matchup, we got the number 3 Portland Trail Blazers taking on the number 6 Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, looking at the Trail Blazers, I mean, the Trail Blazers have basically been balling out pretty much this whole season. And unfortunately, you know, within the last like few weeks, they actually had a multitude of injuries that's actually popping up at the wrong time for them. Losing C.J. McCulloch, losing Nurkic. I mean, you know, those are 2 bona fide players that they actually need on the Trail Blazers to be successful. I mean, Dame Dollar is my man. He's a solid point guard. He definitely don't get the recognition that he deserves, but he's going to have a tough matchup actually taking on another top point guard in the NBA, which is in Russell Westbrook. I mean, if you look at that Thunder squad, they got 2 bona fide studs out there in Russell Westbrook and Paul George. Both of them are MVP-like players. Russell Westbrook's pretty much averaging a triple-double from here on out. Like, the man is doing whatever he can to scrape by and get W's. And that squad, even though they're the number 6 seed, don't sleep on that squad. Like, they 6 seed doesn't reflect on what that team can be. I mean, that team has a nice core. I love Steven Adams. I mean, I love Billy Donovan as their coach. I mean, don't sleep on that squad. That definitely is a squad who could be an upset. And I actually got Oklahoma City Thunder actually taking that series 4-2. And the reason why I'm choosing them over the Portland Trail Blazers is because right now we don't know what Portland Trail Blazer team is actually coming to the playoffs. I mean, with C.J. McCollum being questionable, I don't know if he's going to be ready to go in the first round. Same thing with Nurkic. And as much as I love Dame Dollar, I mean, he's only one man. He only can do so much. And I mean, that him having to go up against Paul George and Russell Westbrook is a lot to actually take on. So, unfortunately, I got them actually falling to the 6th seed OKC. Now, the last matchup that we have in the first round of the West is we got the Houston Rockets taking on the Utah Jazz. Houston Rockets was actually the number 4 seed. The Jazz was the number 5 seed. Now, looking at the Jazz, they actually have been playing good basketball as of late. To me, they got somebody who's definitely a pick for Defensive Player of the Year with Rudy Gobert. Donovan Mitchell has actually found his stride again. I know starting off the season, he kind of I don't know if it was rust, but I mean, a lot of people was basically saying, oh, he ain't as good as we thought he was because last year he did so well. So people was trying to write him off. But he basically actually returned to that same form, that same caliber player that we were seeing last year. And he basically is flipping the switch at the right time. That team is actually looking good. I like Joe Harris. I like Rudy Gobert. And I just like everything that they got going on for the Utah Jazz. That definitely is a solid team that you shouldn't sleep on. They defend well. They can shoot. And they basically are a grit and grind style team. And I like that type of basketball. Now, looking at the Houston Rockets, you got the man James Harden, who really is my candidate to win most valuable player. I mean, the guy has pretty much been dropping 30 points every game, going for 40, going for 50, going for 60. Man might get 70. Like, goddamn, slow down, James Harden. Take it easy, my friend. Take it easy. But, I mean, the Houston Rockets have actually been balling pretty much the whole season. And they've been doing it, without having Chris Paul, who basically has been out a lot due to injuries, suspensions, and whatever may have you. And, I mean, they started off rocky. I mean, a lot of people didn't think that they were in the 4th seed with them actually starting the season off the way that they did. I mean, they pretty much were the bottom of the West. They were losing a lot of games. People thought that with them getting rid of Trevor Ariza and they lost a lot defensively. What they did, and I mean, they had the issues with Melo, but they got past that and they started playing great basketball. Now, the Houston Rockets, I'm worried about them because I'm worried about Chris Paul. I know what James Harden is going to do. James Harden is always there. He's basically been putting the team on his back this whole season just because Chris Paul has basically been riddled with injuries. And I know Chris Paul is getting up in age, so that's one thing that actually scares me about the Houston Rockets. But I still think that they are actually going to be able to pull out this series and be able to beat the Jazz 4-2. Because I think that, James Harden, this man is basically unguardable, especially with the rules. This man is unstoppable. His step-back three is ridiculous. So that's my actual pick, and those are the teams that I think will actually win in that first-round matchup. But, I mean, that's my choice. Let me know if you think somebody else will win that I didn't pick, or if you think that the numbers that I was picking were off, or if you think my stuff was totally wrong and it sucked. Let me know in the comment section below who you got winning those matchups, who you got coming out the East, who you got coming out the West. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to actually click that subscribe button and click that bell so every time we upload, you can get that notification sent to you that we got some new stuff popping on the channel. Again, this is From the Booth to the Court. It's your boy Roy, and we out.